You're listening to a Galactic Network podcast. For more, go to gncast.com.
We're the ElseNerds.
Hello and welcome to a special edition of the ElseNerds show. I'm Gregor, Sprague, and joining me is Peter Fisher, and we are going to just talk and spoil the crap out of Wonder Woman. We both saw it this past week, the opening weekend. For those of you guys who do not know, this is the fourth movie in the in the DC cinematic universe. This is the first female-led superhero movie in this modern era, and this is also the highest grossing movie directed by a female, period. And It's only 5 days old, it's been out for 5 days. But let's do some pleasantries and stuff first. Peter, how you doing, sir?
I'm good.
So Peter, share with everyone what you do out there, because I know you did for Galactic Radio, which is on a break, the app reviews, right?
Yeah, and I also did a podcast on Blazing Caribou called I'd App That, which is now on somewhat permanent hiatus, and that's about it for people to see things. In the works on doing a couple of podcasts with my ex co-hosts from that, but it's still in planning stages. But yeah, basically that.
Nice. All right. So, let's just jump right into it. So, what did you think of Wonder Woman, in all honesty?
Well,
what was you shared beforehand when we went on, you shared your initial thought, right when leaving up with the movie.
Yeah. I put on the Tadpool Facebook page, it said, after seeing Wonder Woman, I believe DC owes us for having to slog through Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman, because it was totally different. That they actually let there be sunlight and real colors, not just the darkish bluish gray of Superman or the Batman and Superman movie. There was sunlight, there was happiness. There wasn't all just a bunch of guys going people actually laughed and cried, and it was better than anything so far.
So I know initially, before I went into the movie, I thought, was seeing the look, I'm like, okay, this looks very similar to the other DC extended universe movies, especially the ones that Zack Snyder directed. And it actually made me look up, get on Wikipedia and look up who the cinematographer was, because I know Zack Snyder uses, he almost exclusively works with Larry Fong when he does anything and he needs a cinematographer. And Larry Fong is one who did, I think, all of Zack Snyder's movies, and all that. But it wasn't. It was the cinematography was done by Matthew Jensen, and so I'm like, oh, cool. So they got a similar style, so people will know if they don't realize. Oh, wait, that's the Wonder Woman from the Batman vs Superman movies or anything like that. It still had that feeling, but and this is what I told people, is especially with some of the battle scenes in there, they were toning down the colors, because it's World War I, it's dark, gritty, dirt flying everywhere, sort of deal. But yet her costume didn't look dark, gritty, because it's bright red, bright blue, and all that. And so that was one of the things I loved right away. I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. Just still seeing that pop and not having to just be like, oh, it looks all so dull.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't think we're gonna see a YouTube cut of the Wonder Woman trailer with it being quote unquote color corrected like they did with Man of Steel.
Oh. And if you ever seen like production photos of the Superman suit, there's a
Yeah.
definitely color shift on it. But like you said, it was like true to the comic book costume.
Yeah.
Although the sculpting of the thing was a little bit extreme. Like
Of the costume.
yeah, like the breastplate was like I also do photography, and it's almost like it was over sharpened.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was like hard creases and not like just soft creases along certain areas.
Yeah.
But so it was more of like actual breastplate and not just a like a fabric costume like Superman or Batman's
Yeah.
normal thing.
No, yeah, definitely. And which looked really cool to see. I mean, it was I've got to say, you know, it looked very stunning, and I feel like if we're gonna make like nitpicks, I think this is one of those movies where it's gonna be very hard to find something to complain about for me, because I did enjoy this whole movie. You know, like this, I felt like this was a good way to tell an origin story, especially for one that a lot of the nerds will know the origin, even though Wonder Woman, she has had quite a few different origins, and it seems like they did a good way of blending them all in, and actually, weirdly enough, as a comic book reader, tied it in with the Greg Rucka run that's going on right now. Like and that's probably me reaching here, but it was like they alluded to she's the like she was made out of clay, and they're alluding to, well, she was the love affair between Hippolyta and Zeus and all this. And I'm like, wait, they did this like with the Rebirth launch with Greg Rucka going, hey, guess what? That's all just lies, and we're we're gonna make her go crazy because she's trying to know who she actually is and stuff like that. And so that was cool seeing that. But I mean, so tell me what you thought of the movie in general. Like what, like starting from beginning or wherever, however you want to do it.
Uh, it's one of the top comic book movies I've seen. It's right up there with like the first Iron Man and first Avengers movie. It's one I'm definitely gonna go see again.
Yeah.
The story was I was reading an article today talking about how like in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies that Mary Jane was just like a secondary character. It's just like a means to an end. Like, oh, she's in trouble, Spider-Man has to go save her. Whereas Steve Trevor
Yeah.
and the Algerian guy and Chief and the Scottish guy all were like fully rounded characters, not just like throwaway things. They had a story arc of their own, which went through throughout the movie, as opposed to like in going back to Batman versus Superman, Lex's assistant, who he decided, well, it'd be best if I just blow her up. You see her like in 2 scenes and she's gone. Like, is that really a good use of characters or anything? But in this, great character development for everyone, even Dr. Poison, and not so much for the German general, but it was real good.
The German general was a great deflector. Like everyone thinking, oh, he's Ares, and then switch and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll even go one step further with Batman versus Superman with the Ultimate Edition, because that's one of the big complaints I had was how they used the characters. Even like some of the bigger name characters, like you watched the Ultimate Edition, which is the only one I watched, and I'm going to say I didn't pay for it. I believe I found a copy, and someone's like, here, watch this. I'm like, okay, cool, and watched it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, and then reading the differences and all that, it's like, all right, it was that was pointless. Like a lot of the extra scenes, like bringing Jimmy Olsen in as a
CIA agent,
as a CIA agent undercover as a photographer to have him die. I'm like, okay, that's stupid, because you can bring him in sequels, and you probably will, and just say, oh well, that deleted scene from the Ultimate Edition is not canon and whatnot. And it's like, there wasn't really a plot with him like there was with these other guys. And I'm just like, all right, great. This tells me, one, that Zack Snyder can write a great story, and all that, because he is one of the writers on Wonder Woman. And so it's like, okay, get other people in here to where it's not like, oh, well, we need a character who's someone in the comic book world that we can throw in here that'll be an Easter egg for the fans, because they love Easter eggs, right? And then watch it backfire as we all complain, like, that's not Jimmy Olsen and shit like that.
and the fact that he had a film camera in modern times, that wouldn't be suspicious at all.
Yeah. Which I think he has a film camera on Supergirl on the CW show, but they tied it in better, like, oh, it was my dad's, stuff like that, like it was a gift from my dad. But no, I mean,
because I'm also a photographer, and like, if you're a news photographer, you're not gonna bother with film. You're gonna have digital, because you can email it off to the paper in no time, as opposed to 3 hours to get it developed and sent off. And
by that time, the events already happened, and they already got the news on Twitter.
Yep.
So so did you see this like regular 2D?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's probably what I would do, is I would probably end up going to see it again in 3D, just because I'm seeing that it is available on 3D and IMAX 3D. I don't know if I would do the IMAX one just because it's like $50 or whatever. But I mean, I'd probably go see it, because there's a lot of shots that, thinking back on it now, like, yeah, those were shots for 3D.
Yeah, the flipping Amazons and the jumping off of stuff. And
yeah, the only, I guess, if I had any problem with the movie, it would be that it seems like whenever that jumping stuff happened, it seems like they always played the quote unquote Wonder Woman music that they played from Batman versus Superman when she would come in, like the
drums.
Yeah, and stuff. It's like, all right, you got more than this, right? Because it seems like I heard that like 5 times throughout the movie. Yeah, like, there's other music, right? I mean, you could throw in the Batman song just for fun.
Wonder Woman. Oh, and also, speaking as a chemist, just because it has hydrogen doesn't mean it'll burn.
Yes,
because hydrogen hydroxide, that's got hydrogen, but it's water. It doesn't burn.
All right, easy there, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Let's not nitpick this too much here.
And I also read another article where the guy that played the chief is, I'm not going to say which tribe he's from because I'll get it wrong. But what he said to Wonder Woman when they met was that he is one of his tribe's gods, like a trickster god that is there to there. So that it was like a native.
Did he used
his own language.
Okay, so he's from the Kenai Nation in Alberta.
Yeah.
And actually was in Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice. Did not realize that, unless it was like
the picture.
The picture?
Yeah.
Okay. And was on Hell on Wheels as well to give for that. But yeah, it's Eugene Braverock is his name. He's a Canadian actor and stuntman. But no, that's cool. That's stuff that I like to see, is that those little Easter eggy things like that, where they're using the real language, or like with Guardians 2, where they said the Peter Quill sure actually says something, and then I'm going, wait, it would have been better, like it says gear shift or whatever, because James Gunn wanted to make a like a like a punk rock type shirt, or not punk rock, like a rock, alt rock type shirt for Peter to wear, and they had made this language. So I'm like, well, why don't you make it Mouse Rat and be at a Parks and Rec like callback and stuff? But I mean, that stuff I always love finding those little things, like those little Easter eggy deals. Now I wanted to hit on, since we're here talking about this and only this, some of the controversies, because I think, I think like one of these is really stupid. The other one is like, okay, I get it, but I mean, come on. So the one I think is really stupid is, the Alamo Drafthouse held women's only screenings for the movie. There was not going to be a man on site, like not the workers, it was only going to be women and all that stuff. And some male moviegoers, and this is only in Austin, Texas. And some male moviegoers were unhappy about this. That one makes me go, really? Come on. Think about this for a second. It's Wonder Woman. It's a female directed movie.
Yeah.
It's like, it's gonna happen. Come on. Just let them have their moment. You sit outside. These are probably the same guys who drove their wife to the Women's March, the day after President Trump did the inauguration and all that.
I'm thinking the ones that complain don't have wives, so they probably didn't.
Yeah.
With their laptops on and their hair in the ponytail. This is the worst thing ever. Yeah. No, they have a point to some things that it is exclusionary, but the Alamo Drafthouse isn't the only place to see it, and it was only one, which turned into 2 showings. So like the next day you could go in like this. It's if there was a male only screening of something, there'd people be complaining, but it since it's only like 1 or 2 showings, it's not really that big of a thing.
It's one of those like because, and I noticed you were having, a difficult time trying to think of a character, and part of the reason why is because there are so many male characters, but Wonder Woman is one of the first female superheroes that wasn't like she was a damsel in distress and had to be saved by a guy. It was like, she was a female ass kicker, and stuff like that. So it's like, of course we're gonna do, that made sense to me, and I'm like, okay, cool. The Alamo Drafthouse, because they do these things like this all the time. And it's never something that's just like, okay, whatever, it's gonna happen. The other one that I sort of get, just because of the whole politics thing, is there was or is a ban on the movie in Lebanon because of Gal Gadot's involvement in the 2006 Lebanon War when she was
that
20.
And the fact is she's Israeli.
Israeli, yeah.
And
I'm like, okay, I get that, but all that's really going to do is take money away from the people, like your people's like if what is it, the Ministry of Economy and Trade were to get like a little percentage from every ticket sold.
Yeah,
they're now not getting any of that because everyone in Lebanon who wants to see Wonder Woman is going to pirate it.
Yeah,
because there's sites out there and all that stuff. So it's like, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, okay, think about this for a second here. would you rather have some money or have all your people watch it from other ways?
Yeah.
But I get, um, so what do you think? And this is getting into more of spoilers. What do you think of? I heard rumors that they're wanting to get Chris Pine to come in for like the sequel. What do you think of that? Because I mean, spoiler alert, he in theory is dead after making the hydrogen blow up,
Yeah.
which may or may not be actually scientifically accurate.
Well, if you cast your mind back to the 1970s and the Linda Carter Wonder Woman, where she came out originally in World War II for the first season, and in the second season she came to modern day, and Lyle Wagner both played Steve Trevor in both, but the Trevor in season 2 was the grandson of the thing.
Yeah.
Now, this whole thing about him not being married, I don't see how it there could be like his son, but it might be like his nephew or something.
Yeah.
So like, and we named him Steve after his uncle. So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
So
Like I think
yeah.
like flashbacks, but like we
Yeah.
pretty much saw everything, all their interaction.
Like,
so
like I think that's probably my guess with Justice League, because they had I'm blanking on her name, but she was the one who trained Diana on the island.
Princess Buttercup, yeah.
Yeah. She's the one, she's coming back in Justice League. And I'm like, okay, well that would have to be in flashbacks, like as she's training or something.
Yeah, I've watched the Emergency Awesome thing on YouTube a lot,
Yeah.
and apparently there's I thought it was going to be in Wonder Woman, but it's actually didn't show up. A back in history fight between the Amazons, the Atlanteans against Darkseid and his minions. So it's going to be a flashback of I guess the Olympic gods and the Amazons and the Atlanteans push Darkseid and cast him out of the world and like banished him. So that's how the mother boxes got on Earth, and through the mother boxes, that's how he's trying to get back in. So that's why he's sending his the guy, the main bad guy in the Justice League movie. I can't even think
it's
the same as the name of the band that did Born to Be Wild. I can't remember. Anyway, so I think he's being, yeah. So that's how they're gonna be back alive, because this is back before Diana was born or something like that. Yeah,
that makes sense. And I really like that idea too. I mean, that just sounds really, really cool. And so, I mean, I have to say that, like, I do enjoy all, like, the whole movie. I don't see this is one that I'm going to see again and again. Steppenwolf is the one you're thinking of.
Yeah.
I just had to look that up. I'm like, wait, who was it?
And in our chat, Carrie Rutens told us to. Yeah.
Yep. This is the problem with having like 5,000 windows. I'm like, oh wait, there I got chat. Like we got Ink Geek Studios in here. I think it's Nate.
Yeah.
From Ink Geek, and then Growly Bear, who's Carrie. They're the same person. These are the typical people who come in, who come in for the show and stuff. It's really fun. But no, so I'm trying to think of a problem I would have with the movie. I mean, I think the only problem I had was it felt like in the middle there with the romance thing with Diana and Steve seemed it seemed a little bit out of place, but then thinking back on it now, I'm like, no, even that seemed right. But it just seemed like it seemed really weird for it's like, oh hey, we just liberated this village. Let's make out. Sort of deal.
But actually, physiologically, that's when that type of thing happens because, well, not for Diana because she wasn't really going to die from it anyway. But it's like you get the adrenaline going and you go, oh, I might have died. Let's get somewhat of the what going. So, but yeah, another Easter egg. Steve Trevor's secretary is actually used to be one of Wonder Woman's sidekicks.
Oh yeah.
From the 40s, where she was. I read another article about this, that she was like one of the only female sidekick who was overweight and was unapologetic about it back in the 40s when they did the comics with her in it.
That's an interesting thing to even think about, because as a comic fan, I think of, like there's a big tout with Valiant and their Faith comic book, who's an overweight, plus size female superhero. But it's like, wait, they've already done this sort of thing. So like that's really cool to see. And to be honest, I haven't even looked at like the Easter eggs, like of what I could have seen from there, but it seems like there's always,
and they
like a whole bunch of different stories.
They showed like a panel from the old Wonder Woman, and she was actually boxing. So that's where but I wouldn't say no to a little bit of fisticuffs, because that's your thing.
Yeah. So the cool thing is, and I guess we can hint at this a little bit, is they, in a way, gave a post-credit scene, because there was the whole the thing at the end of the movie that said audiences to go to the website professorm.movie, and when you went to it, said there's more to wonder soon. It's a link to a movie that is not associated, like it's not in the DCCEU or whatever. It's a separate movie called Professor Marsden and the Wonder Women, and it's a biopic on the whole creation of Wonder Woman, talking about William Moulton Marsden, who created created Wonder Woman, and based it on his like the personality of his wife, but the body, and like the story goes, the body of their lover, and stuff like that. Like it gets really weird when you think about that. And it's just.
And Professor Marsden, it's not in this, but actually was one of the people that developed the lie detector for real, for the FBI or the CIA. So that's probably where he got the idea for the Lariat of Truth.
Yeah, it's, oh gosh, there's a Dan Casey, the Dan Cave episode that he did last week that hit a lot of the things, like Professor Marsden, such a cool dude. Like he did all these things, and I'm like, did this guy take a break at all? Because it's like created Wonder Woman, developed the lie detector, and it's like boom, went into Hollywood and was doing like all these different things. And I'm just like, wait, this dude had hustle, and this was like the 40s. Like he's hustling, like he's like he's like a rapper trying to release a new album every 3 weeks or something.
Yeah. Although a little bit better than J-Rock.
Yeah.
From Trailer Park Boys, for those of you that don't know.
Sorry, I don't really watch Trailer Park Boys. But yeah, I'm looking at a website right now from Screen Rant. It has all the Easter eggs from from the movie. But I mean, dude, honestly, I just had to say this movie is. I love the movie. I mean, the plot. It didn't even seem long. Like there's some movies, like even Guardians 2. I got to the point where I'm like, all right, where am I? Like, when is this almost over? Because like it seemed like with Guardians 2, it seemed like it had a really long part 1,
Yeah.
like act 1, and then like short act 2 and act 3. This, it seemed like pretty evenly, part 1, part 2, part 3, and there we go. Like, and even with the flip of, oh, the German general guy isn't Ares. I'm like, I actually had a Corey moment. Corey on here, he always calls things. He always says like, yeah, I called it. I'm like, damn it. I catch it like after, like right when I'm like, Corey caught that. I bet you. And I had that moment. I'm like, oh, it's the British guy, and all that. But yeah,
I had been spoiled that it was Lupin from Harry Potter, but I was thinking that it was like one of the dual identity type things, that it was the British Lord and the German at the same time, just like switching out bodies.
Yeah, I could have seen that. That would have been. I could have seen that um, being a good part. So one of the things I sort of want to say is like, because I remember reporting on it like early on, that they said that the origin story was going to be closer to the New 52, in the comics, which was her basically being a demigod, being the result of an affair between Hippolyta and Zeus, and I even thought like, oh, this is so cool, and then I caught it like there, because every time you always see her with the gauntlets on, the bracelets on, and I'm like, oh wait, maybe they're doing that now. And then I saw that one scene in the ballroom, and I'm like, okay, maybe not exactly the New 52 Easter egg, like tribute or whatever. But I mean, it's like little things like that I noticed then, but still, it's like, all right, it's not really a nitpick. It's more like, okay, so they were wrong, or they were taking liberties with it. But I don't think I can find a bad thing wrong with this movie. I honestly don't think I can. I think this honestly puts more pressure on Justice League, because I'm glad to say that they now do not have like
An
fans should not be going.
excuse.
Yeah,
Excuse for
fans
not
should not
being
be going.
good.
Yeah, fans should not be like, oh, Justice League has to be good, because all these other ones suck. Justice League has to be good. No, now it's like, okay, Justice League better be good because Wonder Woman was great.
Yeah.
Sort of deal. How would you? Final thoughts about the movie. Because I don't. What would you tell people? Like, how would you tell? Because I don't rank it like 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. I always say like, go see it in theaters, rent it, wait for Netflix, which includes like the premium cable, like HBO and stuff, and then basic cable. Where would you put it on that scale?
See it now.
See it now.
Anyway you can legally see it, go see it. I'm not really that a big a fan of the 3Ds, because generally it's just, oh, there's something coming towards my face. Oh, okay. And they just like throw things in it to be say that's why you pay $5 more for the ticket. But like you said, in this one, I think 3D would be a good thing to go watch too.
Yeah.
Although, to be open, I rarely pay full price to see movies. I usually, Tuesday nights here are cheap night. So I went last night to see it, and it was like half the price that it usually would cost. But if I had to, I would pay full price for it. although I do have enough points to get a free ticket at full price. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, yeah, go see
And
it.
there are other ways. I mean, if you're needing like I know at where I work, they have some of the other DC movies or even the TV shows like I think the first season of Supergirl and Flash, where you buy those, including in there I'm including the original Wonder Woman TV show with Linda Carter. So you got that whole, you buy the first season of that, and I think we had it for like $7.50, and then you get up to $8 off on a ticket.
Yeah,
to go see Wonder Woman. So it's like that's how I saw Avengers Age of Ultron, was one of those like buy it, like here's coupon, go get your ticket online, go see the movie.
Yeah.
Like that's how I've seen a few of the movies, and it's like sweet. That's I definitely agree with that. Go see it in theaters now. It is worth the watch. If it, I would say probably go see it in 3D, because I think I would. Especially if they shot it in 3D. If they did post conversion, I might be like, I don't know. But if they shot it like with 3D cameras, at least for the action scenes where you got Amazons flipping and doing all these acrobatics.
I really want to see them doing their going from the cliff to the beach at the beginning with the swinging down on the lines. I think that would look cool in 3D.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely. That'd be so cool. So how are you feeling right now about Justice League? I'll end it on, I'll probably stop, because did you see the trailer beforehand?
Yes.
For Justice League? Yeah.
Not before the movie, but I've seen it online. It's okay, and I'm a little bit more buoyed now that Joss Whedon is in control, because like Zack Snyder,
it's one of those. We talked about it a couple weeks ago on the show, because where we were not big fans of how the other movies turned out, I'm not going to dog shit on him, because the reason why he's backing out is, or not backing out, he's stepping back, is such a deep personal reason. I'm not gonna be like, all right, dude, okay, yay, great. It's more like, all right, get your mind right to where you can make us some kick-ass stuff in the future, and all that. Go home, grieve. And I look at it like the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, the last Terry Gilliam movie I've seen, where it was also Heath Ledger's last movie, where he died in the middle of the shooting of that. So how do they finish shooting it? Well, they get 3 great fucking actors to fill in for him. They get Johnny Depp, Colin Farrell, and Jude Law to finish the movie and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, okay, Zack Snyder has to step back from this. Well, how are we going to get it? Well, why not bring in nerd god himself, Joss Whedon?
Yeah. And for those of you that are saying, well, Age of Ultron sucked, a lot of that was the studio telling them, well, you can't do that, or if you want to do that, you have to do this as well. So hopefully there won't be as much interference from the studio, because I get a feeling that this Wonder Woman didn't have that much of the execs making it a hit, because they figured it would make like 68 million the first weekend.
Yeah.
And they've made like 3 times that amount. So that, and the fact that Patty Jenkins doesn't have a contract to do 2, and likely be able to go, well, I don't know, maybe you're offering me not a lot, or maybe she'll go, I'll do the same price, but I don't want any interference, or don't want any undue interference with the story.
Yeah. I don't know. That's good. I'll say this about the Justice League trailer, because it seems like I saw a new one. I usually go for, like I haven't seen anything on Last Jedi. I've seen, some pictures from like Entertainment Weekly, but I have not seen any of the trailers. And I've seen the poster because that's also because I walked past it in the movie theaters, which I love the poster. I want that poster. I'm gonna have to talk to my friend who works there. Be like, hey, can I get that poster when it's done? Because that looks freaking awesome. But I think I might now be on media blackout, like trailer, TV clip blackout on Justice League until it comes out, just because that trailer I saw, and it's the one with where Aquaman gets on the Batmobile and then jumps off of it or whatever. And it's, I'm like, all right, that actually looks really good. It looks dark, but I don't know. It looks dark, but it looks like, okay, there's a reason for it to be dark. Not just like, this is the style we're doing.
Yeah. And there's in the group chat here saying, imagine if Justice League doesn't do well, will Wonder Woman become Warner Brothers cash cow? So it'll be the next
Ooh.
like Batman type thing. Oh, the next Wonder Woman movie be like the Christian Bale what's his face directed Batman trilogy becomes a Wonder Woman trilogy.
I would not be upset with that. I mean, in all honesty, because I think didn't they want the Christian Bale Batman to be like the start of like the kickoff for a DC expanded universe before? Yeah. So like to base it off of Wonder Woman, like you keep it Gal Gadot. You could even keep it with the same, the same actors playing these superheroes. It's just you get in different creative teams telling the stories. I could honestly see that, and I would not be ashamed. I would not be mad about that at all if that was the case. I then wonder though if it would be if basing it off of her, if how that would impact the movie, the universe as a whole. Like, would they then go, well, this is going to be our stepping stone, but then we're going to do, Superman and then Batman, and then maybe do a Trinity movie with the three of them that could then bring in, the Flash and, work it that way, as opposed to like doing Superman and then The Dark Knight Returns and then Wonder Woman and then Suicide Squad and then Wonder Woman and now Justice League, and then we're going to bring in the other people that way. It's like, you sounds like you're trying to catch up to Marvel, and it's just do good shit now and forget about trying to catch up to the House of Ideas. Just do compelling stuff that brings people in into what you're doing now.
Well, that's the big lesson from this between Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, and Wonder Woman. Have a good story and everything else will fall into place.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, well, I think that's going to wrap it up here for this. It was short, but hey, this is just a special spoiler thingy for you guys. So Peter, before we leave, tell everyone where they can find you, plug stuff. This is your free ad time.
Yeah, well, I do every once in a while on the weekends. I do a thing called the Joy of Image Manipulations. If you're looking the video of this, my lower third has me as Bob Ross. I sort of merged my face with that, the hideous as it does look, where I take just play around with images that I've taken or other people have taken and just trying to mess with them. And also, if you're going to Nerdtacular, I'm organizing the Post-Nerdtacular Movie going thing that we usually do on the Sunday after Nerdtacular. So if you're at Nerdtacular and you see this ugly mug, you can ask me about the details, and there'll likely be stuff on the Tadpool group on Facebook, or just keep your eyes open And that's about it, I guess.
All right. Well, that's going to do it here for us. You could find me over on the Twitter and a lot of the other places at that Gregor or Gregor1942. You can find the show over at ElseNerds.com. You can be friends, be compadres, be like our hosts, and support us over at Patreon by going to gncast.com/subscribe or support, not subscribe, but support. And that's a great way where you can, in all honesty, do like our hosts do and give, donate money to us. Do a dollar a month, do whatever you feel like you need to, and help us keep the lights on here, because otherwise we'd be podcasting in the dark and no one wants to see that.
It's scary.
Exactly. Leave us voicemail at I should probably get the voicemail thing up here. You can leave us a voicemail. Leave us your thoughts on Wonder Woman. What did you think of the movie and all that? You can leave us a voicemail at 805-328-3966 or email us mail@elsenerds.com. I'll tell you right now, we get any of that, I will read it, I will look through it, and then I'll be like, all right, boom, here we go. Email. This person said this. I agree with them, or they are full of shit. The final thing to be said is, well, I guess this has been a special Don't Tell Glenn production. We will see you guys next week.
Bye.